Good evening, everybody. I told you last week my teacher Richard Aspinall asked me to start doing these presentations in English, so this is me learning, trying to improve my English, so please bear with me. Today I'm going to talk about a company that I admire a lot. It's Spotify, and it's a Agile company. This company has a very nice Agile culture, and I got 13 big ideas that I think are essential to their culture, and some ideas that we can even try to apply here at our company. First, they started with Scrum, and then they changed their way of doing things. They say that rules are a good start, but then you should break them when needed. So Agile matters more than Scrum. Agile principles are more important than practice. So for example, they don't have a Scrum Master anymore. They have a Agile coach. Some of the practices they still do, some of them they don't. And they have new practices that they started doing. Second, teams should have an end-to-end responsibility for what they build. This is very interesting, and they have a DevOps culture, so each team is responsible for analyzing, developing, and even deploying and monitoring all the applications. So they are responsible for the entire life cycle of the application. They have these autonomous squads. A squad for them is a team. Less than 8 people for teams, and self-organizing teams. Third, teams should have a clear long-term mission aligned with the whole company. So every team should have a mission. For example, make Spotify the best place to discover music. This is a mission of one of their teams. Who here have ever used Spotify before? Nobody? You guys have? So do you know that discover part, where you it suggests some music for you based on what you have listened before? So there's one team responsible just for that part of the application. And they have teams that are not responsible for features. They're responsible for architecture. So for example, creating a good infrastructure for A/B testing. They say that they test everything. They treat everything as a hypothesis. So it must be very easy for teams to test things. So they have a team just to make it easier for everybody to test concepts, to test features. They say be autonomous, but don't sub-optimize. Each team is autonomous, but they need to try to be aligned with the whole company, not just optimize things for one team, but to the whole company. Leaders should focus on what problems to solve and let the teams discover the how and solve it. So they say that the responsibility of the leaders is to define what problem to solve, but not exactly how to solve it. They separate these two responsibilities. Avoid weighting waste. So this is interesting. For example, we have many teams here, right? One responsible for the financial part of our software, the other one responsible for taxes and accountability. So each team have its own code. But for example, in Spotify, each team is responsible for one system, like us here, but anyone can alter any code. So if team A, for example, needs something in a system managed by team B, they can ask them to make the change that they need. But if team B have other priorities, team A do not need to wait. They can go ahead and do whatever they need to do to get their work done. So this is very, very interesting too. They have this collective code ownership, even though there is a specific team that cares for that part of the code. Release should be routine, not drama. So it must be really easy to deploy, to release a new version. So they say you should have small and frequent releases, and if it hurts, do it more often, so it's gonna make this easier and easier and easier for you. It's going to be easier and easier and easier. Release trends and feature toggles. So it is a single product, so many teams are changing different parts of the product, but they have to release it at once. So they have these release trains to synchronize the changes and the releases. And also feature toggles. So if you can, for example, enable or disable a feature in real time. 7. Fast fail recovery instead of fail avoidance. So you should fail fast to learn fast and then improve fast. So it is better to try, fail and then learn than not even trying. That's what they say. But if we fail with something, they say you should do a post-mortems. These post-mortems are kind of reports where they analyze what happened, why, and what can they do, what they can do to avoid that to happen again. 100% predictability equals 0% of innovation. So they say we care more about innovation than predictability. That's why what? They use this lean product development method where you have an idea, a narrative, and then they have the MVP, and frequently tweaks based on data. I found it very interesting that in their Kanban, in their workflow, they have their last column, their last step is impact achieved. So whenever they do a change in their software, they have this impact achieved. There is a step after release, so they wait until they can see what impact they have achieved with their last change. Make cool things real. This is very interesting too. Hackathons, but we have a 1 day per month, but they have a week, an entire week of hackathons. They say do whatever you want with whoever you want in whatever way. So they have this experiment-friendly culture, A or B. So we don't know. We try both and see what's worked better for us. Make data-driven decisions. This is very nice too. We ask, what's the hypothesis, what did we learn, and what we will try next? That enables us to make data-driven decisions instead of opinion-driven, ego-driven, or authority-driven decisions. So all their decisions are based on data, not on what the highest paid person in the room thinks about the problem. This is huge. Have a waste repellent culture. So stop doing things that do not add value. They run those keep or drop retrospectives. So they are always questioning their praxis. If it still makes sense, if it doesn't, then they can drop the practice and they can start doing something new, something different. Build a definition of awesome. This is nice too. For example, what awesome means for your teams. It may be, for example, no recurring bugs, really finishing stuff, or have fun. I don't know. It's interesting to have this definition and then think about what we are now and what can we do to go from where we are to where we want to be. This awesome definition. And last but not least, you are the culture, so you can model the behavior you want to see. You can be the change you want to see in the world. So that's it. They have much more nice tips and stuff. They share a lot of things that they do. You can see more on labs.spotify.com. Thank you very much.